Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Mini a True Nerd, and welcome to Crusader Kings 2. Oh, I'm excited for this one. This series has perhaps been more requested than pretty much any other I can think of. It gets brought up all the time. It is a big, beautiful grand strategy game by Paradox, and I think I know why it gets requested a lot. Because the thing about some of the best videos and series that I think I've ever made is they've always been about the stories that we've been able to tell as we play through those games, and that's what Crusader Kings 2 I think really is about, where it shines. It's a game about a story of leaders and a dynasty told over centuries. It's not really like Total War, where it's a game about just going to war with faction after faction. It's a game about politics and families and alliances and marriages and children and decisions good and bad and how they echo down the generations. And oh yes, yes, this one has been a long time coming. So let me set the stage for you at the beginning of our wonderful new adventure. It's 1066, it's the High Middle Ages, and all around the world, big changes are afoot. You can start the game a little bit early in this, by the way, but I kind of like the 1066 start, and we'll get into why in just a second. Now, the game is obviously prompting me to, play as some of the big figures in history right now. William the Conqueror, the Holy Roman Emperor, all of that business. But for me, that's not really what this game is about. So if you want to, you can just jump straight into the shoes of the Byzantine Emperor or the Holy Roman Emperor. But yeah, that's just, for me, not quite what the game is really about. This game for me is about building up, about building your own empire. So I want to start small. I want to start nice and small and work my way up in the world. So I feel like it's my own achievements, my own family, my own dynasty I'm building up. And fortunately for me, the game is well set up for that, because one of the most important, powerful, influential factions in the world today, in 1066, was in fact one of the tiniest, most insignificant factions on this map. And that means my goal is to see whether I can match the historical achievements of one of the greatest powers in the world today. I am talking, of course, about mighty Cornwall. Okay, not really. Now, some of you may not even know what you're looking at right now, so I should probably zoom out a bit. So in case you're not from the UK and thus have never heard of Cornwall, it's this bit down here right on the edge of England. And it's a fascinating little area because it's very distinct from the rest of England. And perhaps amazingly, despite the fact that it's been over a millennium since Cornwall became part of the Kingdom of England and has never actually been independent or part of any other Celtic nation since, Cornwall still has a bit of a Celtic identity. To this day, in the UK government acknowledges that the people of Cornwall are a distinct minority. They have their own minority status. It is a distinct identity. It has its own language, which died out somewhere in the 19th or 18th century, but has come back in recent years and now has a small number of active speakers in Cornwall, and many of its road signs are now bilingual. Cornwall is culturally fascinating. And the fun thing about Cornwall in 1066 is this is pretty much the point where historical Cornwall pretty much lost all of its independence and power. The writing around this is a little bit vague, there's not many primary sources, but it kind of seems like the Cornwall landowners who used to have a bit of power and independence were kind of replaced by the Normans who came over in 1066, so this is kind of the end of Cornwall as an independent power, even though its culture would go on to have, quite frankly, miraculous staying power to still be floating around a millennium later. So this is who I want to play as. I want to play as Earl Caddoc of Cornwall. And that's partly because in this ridiculously massive map that, goes further than any Total War map I'm familiar with in a single map screen, Cornwall is one of the smallest and least significant powers. I really like the idea of building it up. So, let's dive in and see what we can do here. And for those of you that know this game well, don't worry, I did ask around and make sure that I had the DLCs people consider to be essential for actually improving the game. So we've got Conclave, Way of Life installed. Reaper's Due is a bit of an optional one, but that just basically means there's going to be a lot more sickness and illness and epidemics floating around. And Monks and Mystics as well, just to make religion a little bit more on the interesting side. There's going to be a bunch of really big world-changing historical events. I'm just going to leave all of those on default, so some of them like Mongol invasions will happen at roughly the historically right time. However, the bubonic plague will be a little bit more showing up when it feels like it's going to show up, so we never quite know when that's going to happen or not. Let's dive in, shall we? So, welcome to the game proper. This is what the game actually looks like. Unlike Total War, by the way, just in case you're unfamiliar with this, there's no separate battle map or anything. The entire game will basically take place on this here world map. And this is me down here. Hello, we're Cornwall. Now, the reason I wanted to start in 1066 specifically is, if you know your English history at all, you ought to be aware, pretty big year for England. We got invaded twice, in fact. We got invaded by Harald Hardrada from the north, from Norway, and William of Normandy, referred to as William the Bastard at this point in history, which I do rather enjoy, from the south. Didn't work out desperately well for England, and speak of the devil, there's my king, King Harold II of England, with about 3,000 guys just chilling out over here outside Leicester. And up north, yeah, there's Harald Hardrada with about 12,000 men currently laying siege to York and the surrounding settlements. So, things not looking great, and William of Normandy hasn't even bothered showing up at this point. So you're probably thinking, John, you fool! Why would you be playing as England right now? You're about to get completely steamrolled. And not so much, actually. A really important concept it's good to get your head around in Crusader Kings 2 immediately is this is a feudal society. There are layers and hierarchies to it. So this here, this invasion of England, this is a fight that's happening between kings. The King of Norway has invaded because he wants to take over England. And the Duke of Normandy is invading England as well because he's got a good claim on the Kingdom of England. He also wants to take over the English kingdom. I am not playing as England, and I am not playing as Harold II. I am just playing as Earl Caddoc of Cornwall. That's the way this game works. I'm going to be playing as Earl Caddoc, and that's it. I can influence my court around me, but only in a way that an Earl reasonably would be able to influence the people around him. But the only person I'm directly controlling and directly playing as is Earl Caddoc of Cornwall. At some point, he will die, at which point, whoever his heir is, I will start playing as her. So her name is, oh blimey, her name is Rio Antrak. Right, I'm going to need to have more children just so I can name them better. You see, my relationship to King Harold II, who's about to go and fight this war, is he is my liege. I report into him. I pay taxes to him. Sometimes he gives me orders, and sometimes if me and all the other counts and dukes get together, we might be able to actually give him orders. But pretty much, he's my boss. Now, in theory, if he loses this war and someone else becomes king, that new person will just be my liege. So meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Fine, I'll just change the name I write in the Christmas card every year. My day-to-day life might not necessarily actually change that much. You see, I've just changed the map view here, which I think will hopefully make things make a lot more sense, especially if you're at all familiar with Stellaris. You see, I may be part of the overall kingdom of England, but the King of England only controls a certain number of, well, the equivalent of core systems in Stellaris, a certain number of counties himself. The others, he'll need to actually hand off to someone else. So, basically, the other counties here, Mercia, Kent, East Anglia, and me down here, Cornwall, the tiniest one, we're the equivalent of sectors in Stellaris, so I'm effectively a sector governor right now. And if someone takes over the entire Kingdom of England, then yeah, I might well just be able to ride out the storm, start paying taxes to the new guy, and as long as I have a decent relationship with the new guy and make sure he doesn't actively hate me, then yeah, actually, it might not be a bad thing. It might even open up opportunities to me. So England in 1066 is going to be a kingdom in flux, which could turn out to be very, very useful indeed. So for the most part, I'm not really getting involved in this war. That's just gonna, happen over there. I couldn't influence it if I wanted to. I simply don't have the strength to get involved. So I basically just need to worry about me, myself, and my immediate country. So let's just actually focus on me for a second. So I'm Earl Caddoc. The game seems to slightly re-roll you every time you begin, so you get kind of randomized stats. So I happen to be pretty good at diplomacy. I'm a pretty good diplomat. I'm okay at my martial skills. I'm pretty good as a steward. However, I'm terrible at intrigue, and I'm not so good at learning. So yeah, my focus is going to be more on diplomacy and stewardship, which basically means piles of money. That's not a bad character. I'm pretty darn happy with that. And as for my special traits, what have we got here? I am an honest individual. I am humble. I am gregarious and socially competent. I am zealous, however, intriguing. So, yeah, I get a little bit of extra piety from that. And I'm a thrifty. Ah, thriftiness. That's useful as well. Good. So that's a pretty good character, and more importantly, he seems like a very decent, nice person. So that's very, very good indeed. That doesn't always help, however. You'll notice up here, yeah, King Harold II doesn't actually like me that much, because I'm honest, and King Harold II is apparently deceitful. So as a result of him being deceitful and me being honest, yeah, he doesn't actually like me that much, which is a bit of a shame. But not that much of a shame, because he probably won't be around for too much longer. History says he doesn't do well in these wars. Now, the first big thing I need to do is I need to sort out my family and my dynasty and my succession. So I'm 35 right now, and I have 2 children, a daughter of the age of 8 and a daughter of the age of 7. That's not many children, and while my daughters can actually inherit and you can actually have female earls or earlets, whatever a female earl is called, they absolutely can rule, it does cause some problems, because it's the 11th century. So some people are not going to be keen on female rulers. They can't hold certain positions that it would be useful for them to hold. Some people are going to be dicks about it, and it's going to limit their marriage options a bit as well. So ideally, we need to get ourselves a son sorted out. So that's what I'm going to actually use my ambitions and focuses for, because this is what you can do. You can sort of steer your character in particular directions. So, an ambition for my character. So I could do things like, I want to become a paragon of virtue. So then I just need to get my piety up, and as a result I would actually go in that direction. So I'd gain learning, I'd gain piety, and I'd start being known as Earl Caddock the Holy, which would be lovely. But that's not my priority right now. I need to sort out my family to make sure my dynasty is nice and secure. So I want to groom an heir. I want to have a male child, and I want to see him reach adulthood, which is absolutely marvellous. And because I'm trying to do that, my fertility will go up, because I guess it represents, like, I'm going to make an effort to go and have sex with my wife more often or something. So absolutely, I want to go and do that. And just to further reinforce that, I'm going to turn my focus over to seduction. Intrigue +2, fertility +25%, sex appeal +10. So that would once again make it more likely I'm going to just be popping out children nice and fast. Though actually, I don't need to do that in order to get my fertility up. I could also go for family, which is also diplomacy +2. That's probably for the better, because my intrigue's kind of terrible, so boosting my intrigue by a further 2 is not going to make much difference to my empire. So a family focus, yeah, will actually get my fertility up as well, together with diplomacy +2, which is a strong suit of mine, and diplomacy is a really important early game skill. So I'm actually going to focus on, yeah, I'm going to focus on family. Marvellous. And in addition, that also ensures better relations between all family members. Very, very useful indeed. Yeah, the downside of seduction is, it's not just your wife you seduce. It increases the instance of you basically taking a quick tumble with various other people in your court, which can have unfortunate consequences for the dynasty and diddly-diddly-dee. So probably, yeah, let's just stick with a family focus, because that diplomacy will be very, very useful indeed. Now, as I was just saying, it's only me I've got direct control over, so I can set focuses and ambitions for myself, but say, my wife, I can't give her a focus or ambition, because I'm not actually playing as her. Ooh, she's got 12 diplomacy as well. Oh, that's really nice, because my entire, well, I say empire, my entire empire is the county of Cornwall. It's the smallest unit of land in the game, but my entire empire has basically a ranking for, yes, state diplomacy, which is a function of my diplomacy, and I think it's my spouse's diplomacy divided by 2, so she gets to have an influence on that too, plus my councillors, will get to them in a second. So actually, my state diplomacy is going to be pretty darn decent in this game, which is very, very important indeed. So I can't directly influence my wife, but children in my court I can, because I can influence their education. So, Rio over here, Rio is my eldest daughter. Now, she probably won't turn out to be the queen or the earlet or whatever, but just in case she does, it's probably a good idea for us to just groom her just in case. So, for example, what do I want her to be? Yeah, she might one day be a decent, strong administrator. So, yeah, let's make her all dutiful and conscientious. That could be useful. But yeah, we're basically just giving her a focus for her childhood right now. So, you know, teaching her some etiquette, teaching her humility, teaching her about heritage or faith or duty or thrift. So we're just like slowly starting to influence what her personality is likely to be like in the future. Because right now she has only one trait, and it's that she is haughty, which might in theory mean she goes on to be a decent martial leader, which isn't that useful because she's not allowed to actually be the marshal on the council or anything. So we probably want to push her in a bit of a different direction. Let's go for, Yeah, duty and conscientiousness. That seems like a good sort of idea. So we'll give her that focus. And I think also her, yes, her younger sister, who therefore right now is second in line to the throne of Cornwall. Do I have a throne? I'm going to build myself a throne. If the king has, just don't tell him. But I'm going to build myself a throne. So her, the important thing, what do we know about her? She is curious right now. An important thing for her is she does not become ambitious. Because if she's second in line to the throne and her sister becomes queen or whatever, then as a result of that, if she's ambitious, she'll get jealous and she'll plot and there'll be trouble. So really, I would like her to be, there we go, timid and affectionate. That's probably just a good safe thing to make sure she doesn't become problematic down the line. Because while she's only 7 right now, one day she'll grow up and one day she'll be a big important adult figure within the court. And apparently there's one other child lacking a childhood focus I also need to pay attention to. Hello, Jeanette. Who are you exactly? So, your parents are... Hang on, let's just have a little look-see at the actual family tree here. So... Yeah, so I myself am Caddock. I was the eldest son of the older king, and I've got 2 daughters. My younger brother and half-brother apparently, so presumably, younger brother by a different woman. He has got himself 4 children, of whom Jeanette is the oldest, and, the other nephews, however, are too young to be given a childhood focus yet. Jeanette is just old enough, I can start giving her a focus. Now, same thing, she's even further from actually the crown, so we definitely don't want her getting ideas above her station, so I'm going to give her timid and affectionate as well. If you want to, by the way, you can actually look at the succession anytime, which is really cool. If you actually go over to, like, the County of Cornwall screen, it'll actually show you who is in line. So, actually, Jeanette is 6th in line because, obviously, her 3 younger brothers are all male, and it's the 11th century, so therefore guys skip the queue when it comes to succession. So that's my immediate family taken care of. The next thing I need to do is make sure Cornwall itself is well administered. So Cornwall is just a county. It's got a few things in it. So it's got itself a county capital, and it's got itself a city, and it's got itself a church. They just produce some money and some men. We don't have to worry about the details of that just yet. The thing is, this is my only county. This is what's paying everything, all the rest of it. So right now it's producing 1.54 monthly balance. I need to get that up a little bit, and I need to start working towards becoming more wealthy, becoming more powerful, and generally expanding. I'm going to do that with the help of my council, because I'm not an autocrat. I may be the Earl, but I've also got a council that sits around and actually helps me as well. So this is my council, and also as an Earl of the Kingdom of England, apparently I also sit on my liege's council. So I actually sit in the council of Harold II as his advisor, and in addition on top of that, I've got my own council too. The problem is, right now, my council's not very good. Pretty much my council has one position for each of the skills you can have in the game. So a chancellor just needs to be good at diplomacy, marshal needs to be good at fighting, steward good at money, spy master good at intrigue, and court chaplain good at learning. Right now, this is not a desperately good council, and particularly, the marshal has a skill of 3. In fighting, so he is considered an incompetent commander. So I'm not quite sure why you, my good man, are in that position. That doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Let's just go over to you. Yes, you'd be much better at learning. So how about we just reposition you into a new position? Because the thing is, this guy has to stay on the council. This little fist here means, relative to the size of my empire, these people are big deals. So they expect to be on the council. And if they feel like they're not on the council, they're going to cause trouble. The reason these guys think they're both big deals is because these guys are managing the actual settlements in Cornwall. So I manage the actual county capital myself personally, because this is my territory. However, the city of Bodmin has a mayor, who is that guy, and, the actual church, hang on, the church, what is it? The bishopric over here, that is being managed by this guy. Now, in the grand scheme of everyone in the world, these guys are the tiniest of small fish, but Cornwall is also a tiny, tiny small fish of an empire. Not even an empire, it's just a tiny bit of land on the edge of England, to be honest. So as a result, right now, they consider themselves locally important and expect to stay on the council. So I've kind of got to keep them there, otherwise they might cause trouble, plot against me. Though right now, this guy does like me, which is marvellous. He's got things like the content trait, so because he's content, he's not particularly ambitious, so he's unlikely to cause trouble for me. But let's actually just very quickly move you over to a new position. So change your council position, and I would like to change that over to court chaplain. So he moves straight down there. That's all absolutely fine. So he's a powerful vassal. He's still on the council, but now he's somewhere that suits him a bit better. Someone a little bit better has stepped in, but honestly not very much. And you, my good man, I also need to move you, because the two most important council positions in the early game are going to be the Chancellor and the Steward. Because this guy is going to be the guy that makes me more money, and this guy is going to be the guy that helps me expand my empire in the early game. So they both need to be really good at their jobs. And he's actually... yeah, he'd be better as a spy master. So that's actually flipping perfect. So I can just move him down to spy master immediately. Let's just quickly do that, please. Something else in mind. He should be my spy master. Move him down there. I've even bought him a fancy robe so he looks the part. Gonna be honest, if I was told I was going to be a spy master, I would not go out and buy a sinister black robe, because that's just going to draw attention to yourself. But whatever, spy master's not actually the most important role in the empire right now. It's okay. So now what I've got in the positions of my Chancellor, my Marshal, and my Steward are basically, it's just some guys. They're locals, they're not important. If I kick them off the council, it won't even matter. Which is good, because you know what? Cornwall has got ambitions. One day, we are going to rule the world. Well, maybe not the world, but like, you know, we might rule a small part of it. The thing about this game is it's not like Total War where, like, you know, you just build up an army and you just slowly snowball until you take over all known societies in the world. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's about the journey, not the destination, ladies and gentlemen. So, I need to actually get myself some better quality people into my little tiny county in order to help manage the thing. Because right now, these people are not really up to snuff. And thankfully we can do that with this here Find Character tab. The Find Character tab lists literally everybody in the bloody world. Every named character in the entire game, in every country, is listed here. And it's very, very useful indeed. Because if I basically just filter it to say, yeah, everyone in the world, and now only people who'd be willing to join my court if I were to invite them over to Cornwall, they'd be like, yeah, you know what? Cornwall sounds great. And now that I've got people who will come and join me, I filter by the people who are actually good at a particular task. So, irritatingly, you often find this, some of the most talented people in the world are actually women. They're not allowed to serve on the council just yet. As time goes by, you can modify the law to allow women to serve on the council, but for the moment, it's the 11th century, the rest of the council wouldn't have it, so I can't actually have some of the most qualified people. However, we do have some decent people floating around here. You see, there's a couple of different competing priorities going on here. So obviously we want someone with a nice high diplomacy skill, so all these people are considered masterful diplomats, and you know, 1 or 2 points doesn't make a huge amount of difference. We're just dealing with, what was it, about 8 at the moment, we're jumping up to 15. That's a very, very big improvement. So we want people who've got a nice high skill. We also want people with a good series of traits, because certain traits can actually be passed on genetically if these people get married within my court and go on to have children, which might be very, very useful indeed. Some people culturally are going to fit into my court better than others as well. So this person is Welsh and Celtic, so therefore they would actually fit into my court very, very nicely indeed. And some people, if I can just find an example, this is a woman, so we won't be having her, but this person has a little crown, which means that she actually possesses a claim. It's only a weak claim, so even by the standards of claims, it's not actually very good. A claim is basically a justification for why this person ought to rule, well, not really ought to rule, but has a reasonable argument for saying, hey, if I were to be the king of the Ottoman Empire, there's no Ottoman Empire, it's far too early. If I were to be king of the Ottoman Empire, that wouldn't be so ridiculous because my nephew once went cat-sitting for the old emperor of the Ottoman Empire. So yeah, it's fine, it makes perfect sense. So claims are just basically justifications for why a person might hold a particular position. So they can be useful to bring into your empire. For the time being, yeah, there aren't that many great claims floating around, so we should probably... Ooh, hang on. An Irish claim could in theory be useful though. Okay, that one might not be the worst thing in the world. I think I'm going to settle on Riegfark, who is actually from one of the Welsh factions. So, he's Welsh and Celtic, so culturally he'll fit into my court very, very nicely indeed. He's honest, and so am I, so he's going to get on well with me in that regard. And there's no sign of ambitious, he's charitable, patient, and diligent. In general, he's unlikely to cause trouble and likely to like me. So as a result, I'm going to bring him along, and he is going to be my new Chancellor. And another consideration is because he's Welsh, if I ever actually get any Welsh lands, because he's Welsh, I could actually give them to him, and as a result, he'd get on better with the locals. So he's going to be invited to court, even though he doesn't actually have the highest diplomacy skill. He's pretty darn close to the top, and there's a lot of other good reasons why this will actually work out pretty nicely. Oh, now here's a flipping star right here for my new marshal, 19 skill, a masterful commander, together with a whole bunch of really, really nice perks. Brilliant strategist, organizer, movement speed up for armies is incredibly powerful, zealous, kind, diligent, and like me, he's honest. So once again, he's going to fit in quite nicely. He's Anglo-Saxon West Germanic, so culturally he's a little bit more alien, but yeah, the honesty and the lack of ambition means he shouldn't cause any great problems. So, once again, we invite him to court, and we know ahead of time he'll say yes, because the game tells you whether or not they're going to say yes with the yes there, and the green thumbs up. Send that. And now I just need to find myself a nice steward. Oh, well, this is just flipping perfect. That is, slight problem. So we've got a 19 skilled steward here, who is very, very powerful, but we need to be careful. He has the ambitious trait, which means potentially he could cause trouble down the line. On the other hand, he's got Midas touched, which is not just a good skill, it's a skill that can be passed on genetically to his children. So potentially, his sons might actually make very good stewards of their own one day. One of the other options, who's also pretty darn good, would be, this second guy. Also 19 on stewardship and has greedy, which while it's bad, national tax modifier plus 10% is really powerful. Unfortunately, he is actually, he's 56. So I could invite him and he'll die tomorrow, so that wouldn't necessarily be that flipping useful. I'm actually going to go for this guy down here. He's not quite as good, and he's still ambitious, which could be a problem, but he's Midas touched, he's just, and he's gregarious. And I'm gregarious, so hopefully me and him will get on. But yeah, envious. A deadly sin. Bit of a problem, but hopefully this will all work out for me. So, invite him to court. And we have got ourselves a whole bunch of very, very good quality people arriving momentarily. Now, I know my council members are idle. It's because I'm kind of waiting for my new council members to arrive before I get them doing anything. So that's Cornwall shaping up pretty darn nicely here. Now, I've actually got to wait for all my new councillors to arrive, and that means it's time for time to start ticking along. Because right now, it is and has been for some time, the 15th of September, 1066. Probably best we get time ticking along and see what happens next. Because you're probably looking at King Harold and thinking, well, he's completely flipping boned. He's got a trick up his sleeve he hasn't activated yet, and I think we're about to see it. As soon as we get time ticking along, and as soon as he realises, there we flipping go. So, what's just happened there is Harold has called up his levies. Because Harold is the King of England. So therefore, even though he only directly controls a certain amount of territory, all these other guys, these dukes and these counts and whatever, and I'm a count, I'm the lowliest of the low, we still do have to provide some troops for him if he actually calls them up. And by the way, I do like how they're all kind of dressed somewhat independently depending on the culture of where they've been called from. So I'm sending some nice Cornish guys into support, so they're actually dressed differently to the guys next door. And by the way, we are putting Devon to flipping shame. Alright, Devon is sending 18 guys. Oh, and what have they showed up with? Oh, they've shown up in tunics with a little spear and a shield. No, I've sent 56 guys wearing flipping chainmail and a really nice helmet and a flipping big sword and shield. And my shield's got spikes on the edges. Does your shield have spikes? No, no it does not. So my troops are, oh yeah, I'm just embarrassing everyone. I'm showing up with so many flipping troops. That's pretty darn nice. Admittedly, I can't beat Oxford or London and Middlesex there. And oh yeah, Suffolk's putting forward some good forces as well. And of course, the forces of like Mercia, the big duchies, they're putting forward like 1,000 guys each. So this will let Harold put together a bit of a better force. But if you just do a bit of quick maths off the top of your head, things still aren't looking really that hot for him. No, not at all. And naturally, Harold's first job will be basically trying to get all of these troops drawn together. So he's probably going to try and pull all these forces together, and they've started moving. We've also started getting messages. This is how the game works. As time ticks by, we'll get messages from our liege, from other powers, from members of our own council. People will send us messages. And what exactly do you want Harold II? To the sincere wit Caddock. Okay, that's an interesting way to open a letter, but whatever. May you live in harmony and contentment. Yay, that's really lovely of you. We propose that Geetha Godwin Sudo... Oh, blimey, can we rename her? That's insane. Becomes the guardian and mentor of little... Ah! He wants to basically manage my children. Okay, that is of interest. And are you actually good at your job? Oh, actually... You are. He's basically proposing that he wants to assign a teacher to give this girl an education, which strikes me as perfectly fair because Jenad is, yeah, very far down the succession, so I'm going to say accept just to keep him happy. He's not going to be around for too much longer, but it never really pays to annoy your liege. And yeah, honestly, this is actually a pretty good teacher. Good at diplomacy, good at stewardship. So that should affect what Jened becomes good at over time. So I'm going to accept that, and that's all absolutely fine. Keep time ticking along here, and all of these troops should start, yeah, they're all going to start moving, and they're all going to actually try and get all together. And, oh, I think someone just arrived. And, aha, here we go. So the people I invited to my court have started showing up too. They're going to take a little bit of time to arrive, because I need to send them the message, they need to travel back to me. Travel times are a little bit accelerated. It's unrealistic how fast people arrive at your court, but that's probably just for the best. Would you believe... I think a new challenger just arrived. The Normans are coming with, yeah, that is 180 galleys. And the tiny fleet of the English, only 16 galleys, isn't going to be able to stop them. So, the Normans are on their flipping way. And in come more councillors that I actually asked to come and join my court. So they're all coming. I knew they were going to accept ahead of time. So that's not a big deal. I think there's one more who should be arriving momentarily. And there he goes. Good. So, what's going on here is... Oh, right. The Normans have already shown up, and they have started murdering a tiny English force. They've caught out of position. That was just a little tiny force of reinforcements, raised levies, and... Oh. Well, this war is kicked off nice and fast. That is... Who are you exactly? Oh, that's King Harold himself. King Harold has come south with a detachment of, yeah, just under 4,000 troops, though there are more reinforcements coming south at the same time, and he's just taken out a tiny English force. If England could pull all of its forces together, they might actually be able to knock out Harold. I'm not sure what that does to the war, because of course, as I said at the beginning, this is a war between kingdoms. The war between the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of Norway, and also the Duchy of Normandy, but he wants to become the King of England. Now, the only reason they're allowed to fight that war is because they've got the justified claim of Harald Hardrada, who has got a claim upon England, hence why he's allowed to begin this war that lets him take over England with a single war if he happens to win it, and take over everything that's within England simultaneously. If Harold dies, they don't have... And by the way, I know there's two Harolds, sorry, it's confusing. If Harald Hardrada dies, they don't have that justification anymore. So I'm not sure if, therefore, they can no longer win that war. I'm genuinely not sure. Still, let's just leave the fact England's on fire on one side, because it doesn't really affect me. You guys are clever. You're staying out of this for the time being. Well done. I need to assign my new council members. So... I've now got some really, really good quality people to assign right now. So, you can now be, oh yeah, 15. A masterful diplomat, and also appoint a nice masterful commander. And finally, appoint, oh, he doesn't like me as much. Yeah, because he's a foreigner, and he's envious. So envious people fundamentally don't like anyone who's higher up in the world than them. Fortunately, his opinion of me has jumped up a little bit, just on account of the fact that he's been given a council position, and he is a masterful steward. Marvellous. Now, the reason I wanted those people is because the amount of money I've got coming into my empire right now is 1.54 per month. Now, one of the things a steward can do, because you can assign them various tasks, is collect taxes. So he is going to increase my tax take by 45%, so a massive increase. And in addition, on top of that, because he's so good at his job, there's about a 10-11% chance per year he'll just give me an extra free pile of money, which is going to be really, really significant. So this is just marvellously good news. Obviously, he's going to do that in Cornwall, because that's the only place he actually can do that. So that's just marvellous as well. Now, sooner or later, we're probably going to be needing some troops. So I'm also going to tell my marshal to work on training troops. That's going to increase the levy size and levy reinforcement rate by a massive degree. Basically, if I do need to call up my troops, it just means there'll be more of them to come. Because you may think, but John, your troops have been called up. They're being marched over there. There's two different sorts of troops. There's the troops that the king gets to call up, and there's my own troops that are loyal to me and are basically the troops of Cornwall. So I can call them up any time I want. So my personal levies, there we are. There's 449 troops right flipping there. Though I can also just dismiss them whenever I want as well. As far as I can tell, there's no actual cost for that, so I can just do that whenever I want to. And I've also got, yeah, my vassals, and by vassals I mean anyone working for me, which is just these two guys in this city and this little church thing. They're going to not be able to really provide anything, to be honest, like 95 guys. So I can call up maybe 500, 600 men total in all the world. So yeah, a bit of a step up in that will be very, very useful indeed, because that's not very many men. So I'm going to tell him to actually not organise the army. I'm going to tell him to train some troops. So he just goes here and starts training troops, so I've got a big old pile of troops when I need them. Now, the spy master and the court chaplain don't have quite so much to get on with at this exact moment in time. Probably the spy master can just be told to scheme at this point. Because, yeah, if he schemes, then if there happens to be a plot against me, he'll just find it out. So I'm going to tell him to get on with that. I could tell the chaplain just to keep an eye on heretics and whatever, and it would also get me more and more piety. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a terrible thing to do. Basically, everyone can just hang out here in Cornwall together, and everything will be flipping lovely. Now, as for my Chancellor, he's arguably the most important person of all, because in this game, you can't just go invading whoever you feel like it. Much like in Stellaris After Apocalypse, you need to actually have a casus belli to actually justify invading somewhere. And my Chancellor can fabricate those claims if I don't have any myself. Because right now, I've got no claims on anything. I'm the Earl of Cornwall, but I have no right to claim I actually own anything else at all. So in order to fabricate a claim, I'm going to need my Chancellor to go and do that for me. Luckily, he's extremely flipping good at his job, so I'm going to send him over there to fabricate claims. And because I've actually got a very skilled Chancellor, he has got himself a 15% chance per year to actually fabricate a claim. Which I know doesn't sound very high, but compared to how my basic Chancellor would have done, it's ludicrously high. So I'm going to get him. Now, where do I want to actually fabricate a claim? Devon is probably a good idea, because depending on what happens in this war... And by the way, you might be thinking, well, you know, we know what's going to happen in this war. Harold's going to beat Harold Hardrada, and then he's going to go down to Hastings, and he's going to lose to William of Normandy. No! The game is properly modelling this. History might be about to fly off the rails at the first moment. There is no guarantee William of Normandy is going to win this. He could lose this to Harold Hardrada. It's entirely flipping possible. Devon, well, anything could happen to Devon at this point. Devon could change hands repeatedly. So there might be a good opportunity for me to jump on Devon down the line. So I'm just going to basically send this guy over here. He's just going to try and fabricate some claims for Devon. And if we're very, very lucky indeed, then we might actually get a claim out of that. And if an opportunity presents itself, our troops that we're training up with our marshal right now need to be ready to move in. So, let's get time ticking along here, and we'll see what influence that say, steward has just had the tax take when it updates next month. Harold Hardrada is just chilling out here for the time being. Yeah, he's managed to kill a small force, and he has started besieging Leicester. No! Oh wait, no, yes he has. It's one of his reinforcement armies that is now attacking the English. Unfortunately, a fairly big major part of the English have been caught out of position. So as a result of that, yeah, the levies from Mercia, which is one of the biggest actual duchies, they're going to take some casualties. None of those people are dead, by the way. That represents their fighting strength. So you see that actually after the battle ended... Hello, so people are trying to contact me. So, message about a signed guardian has been received. Oh, Harold, do you want to train more of my children? Okay, you actually want to train my heir at this point and educate her. How good are you? You know what? I'm willing to accept that. That kind of seems perfectly reasonable, because this woman is not going to be on the front line. She's not going to be captured in battle or anything like that. So, I say we accept, because she actually seems like she's a pretty good teacher in the diplomacy, and diplomacy is a really important skill. By the way, I know the flags are really unhelpful, but I can't change that. So the flag of Normandy is 2 lions. The flag of England is 2 lions and a thing underneath the lions. And the flag of Norway is also red and yellow, but it's like a griffin clinging onto a flagpole or something. I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to be. So, yes, The flags are quite similar. The way to tell the difference is there a thing underneath the lines? If yes, that's England. If not, that's Normandy. But yes, it is somewhat visually confusing. And here's something interesting. The Chancellor of England, somebody on the Council of Harold II, has asked me to automatically vote with him for 36 months. So yeah, I am on the... Oh, hang on. I'm the advisor. I was over here a second ago. I'm still the advisor. It's just I've moved around a little bit. Fine. So the Chancellor, yeah, this guy, wants me to just automatically vote with him. And if I do, he'll owe me a favour. Now, favours can be called in all sorts of ways, so... Who are you exactly? You're also Chancellor of England, but do you actually have any other position? No, he's got no other position. Ah, he's Chancellor of England because he's got Diplomacy 21. Fair enough. Fair flipping enough indeed. Right, well, in that case, I guess I'm going to accept, because it never hurts to have a favour from someone who's very, very powerful. So now one character owes me a favour, and yeah, I can use that to force him to do all sorts of fun bits and pieces, potentially. So what's going on here at this point? Yes, this exact moment in time, the Norwegians are just sieging a bunch of cities, as indeed is William of Normandy. Now, the game right now is ticking by very, very slowly indeed, just day by day. You can speed it up to, like, you know, so days are flying by and years pass by in a matter of seconds. Like, this is how this game goes. Sometimes you want to play things day by day, which in the early game, when you're just getting your empire set up, is probably a good idea, or when a major war's going on. You can also speed things up massively if that's what you want to do. And, aha! It looks to me like, go on, hand over Devon to someone else, hand over Devon to someone else. Yes, good. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So, previously, Harold II was managing large amounts of territory by himself. But he was over his domain limit, the equivalent of core systems that you can control in Stellaris. So he's had to hand over a bunch of them to other people. So now what this actually looks like is... Hang on, if I go over to... What's even England anymore? Oh, he's kept very little for himself. He's handed over huge amounts of it to other people. Fascinating. Devon is now controlled by the Earl of Devon, whoever this guy is. So right now, I am an Earl and I control Cornwall. And this guy is an Earl and he controls Devon. Now, while King Harold II was controlling Devon personally, I could not attack Devon, because doing so would mean basically attacking my own king, declaring independence, war against my king. Generally, terrible idea. What he's, however, gone and done now is he's given Devon, my neighbour, to someone who's of equal standing to me. As a vassal count, i.e. someone who literally works for the king, there are advantages and disadvantages to that. I have to pay tax to the king, and sometimes he gets to tell me what to do, but foreign powers can't really attack me directly. Just like right now, William of Normandy or Harold Hardrada aren't coming for me. They're coming for Harold and his army and England directly. So you're a little bit safe from outside attack. However, vassals are allowed to attack other vassals within the same empire unless the king bans it. He can't actually stand up and say, guys, seriously, stop it, stop fighting. But he seems to very rarely do so. So now he's handed this thing over to an earl. If the opportunity presents itself, if I could just engineer an actual reason, a justification to go to war fast enough, I might be able to go over there and seize Devon while everyone else is distracted by this big war over here. Never let a good crisis go to waste and all of that. And for that exact reason, I'm currently training new troops and got my Chancellor working on some fabricated claims that would justify me going into Devon. So with my life at home pretty much under control and us just slowly working towards being able to take over Devon and all the rest of it, time to watch some fireworks in England. Because, yeah, what happens now is... Oh, well, things are already kicking off there. So, a small reinforcing... Yeah, that's just some English levies have been caught out of position by a detachment of Norwegian troops. So, they're going to be in trouble very, very quickly indeed. Not a good start for the English. The English just need to pull together all of their troops. And Harold II is just passing laws left, right, and centre. Marvellous. You'd think he'd be distracted, but no, apparently not. He's only got about 4,000 strength. Where's Harold? There's Harold himself, currently just travelling around with about, yeah, 400 to 600 men. He needs to get into a bigger army sooner rather than later. And meanwhile, William has created a small detachment to start sieging. I think he's going to Surrey. Yeah, he's just going to Surrey to besiege out all of that. And what do we have here? After giving my advice on a delicate matter, a courtier asked me to accept a small gift of gold as thanks for my help. So I can accept it reluctantly, in which case I become charitable, good for diplomacy. Okay, that's pretty good. Or wasn't my advice worth more than a couple of pennies? I become greedy for... Is that for certain? No, only 45% chance. But that would get me more tax. No, I will accept +3 to diplomacy through charitable. And that's 70%. Let's see if that actually takes... I think it tells you if you actually get the trait. So, I think I've been unlucky, and sadly I did not get the trait. I do not think I'm charitable. That is a shame. It would have been a nice thing to have. So, it looks like the Norwegians are actually marching south at this point. They've pulled all their armies together, and they're marching south towards Shropshire, and who knows where exactly. The English have just got themselves a nice big force of... yeah, all things together, maybe 6,000. Looks like 500 odd are heading north to try and maybe relieve parts of York, but probably they'll just be picked off. Right now, yes, the Normans are doing pretty good work, but actually in terms of war score, yeah, the Norwegians are doing better. Taking over territories faster for the most part, currently just besieging out the forces of Shropshire, taking over Ludlow, Wenlock and Shrewsbury. So we'll see how they get on over there, but it looks to me like William is ready to start settling things up. These guys are going to, yeah, on the 10th of January, 1067, there is going to be the Battle of Bedford. These guys are trying to flee, but they started fleeing a bit too late. So, tragically, yeah, there's actually about to be a battle where 5,000 English are going to be standing against 10,000 of the forces of Normandy. Now, there might be a river advantage to the English. No, because they're not fighting over the river. Sometimes when you actually fight, when there's a clear river marker, say if you're fighting from Middlesex and trying to attack into Surrey, the Surrey defenders get an advantage because of the river business. But I'm kind of not sure exactly how you calculate when it is and isn't going to actually happen. Meanwhile, the English are trying to retreat, but it's far too late. Yeah, it looks like Harold himself is... Actually, where is Harold himself? Possibly he's just not a commander because he's not good enough. I'm not quite sure. So it would appear that, yeah, reinforcements are coming in from Norway, and reinforcements are possibly also coming in from Normandy. So reinforcements all around the shop here. The English are in trouble. These guys aren't all dead, by the way. That just kind of represents people who are no longer able to fight because they're wounded or they've retreated or run off or whatever. So the English will get some of those troops back later, but honestly, at this point, yeah, the fact they've already lost this major battle, they need to focus on picking off small detachments of troops while waiting for reinforcements, recharging, engaging in skirmish tactics. In an actual pitched battle, the English are completely flipping screwed. So they will lose momentarily. And there we go. They've got about 3,000 left of what was about 5,000-6,000. So the English are in trouble right now. A lot of trouble. And because of that pitched battle, William is now leading in the war to conquer England. He needs to get to minus 100% in order to win. Because technically I'm supposed to be losing the war. I mean, I don't really care. New boss, same as the old boss, whatever. So, yeah, now he's decided he wants to siege out Bedford, which will also be very, very good for him. Bedford is actually fairly well guarded. It'll take him a little while to get through that. And Harold is actually heading south. Where are you going? He's actually going all the way to Oxford. Okay, well, this is fascinating. He's actually going into Bedford. Are you about to actually take on... No, he's going to Middlesex. Right. So Harold has marched right down south here. Right down south. In just a couple of days, he'll hit Middlesex and he will actually take out these English swords. Now, I'm not sure technically that Harold Hardrada and William of Normandy are at war right now. I think they might actually not be at war because they're both at war with Harold, but they're not at war with each other. If one of them, however, wins, I think at that point they are at war with the other because then the war with England carries over. I'm not quite sure. So what exactly is... what is going on here? Yeah, there's Harold, who is now trying to besiege London, while just the north of him, William of Normandy is trying to besiege Bedford, and just the south of him, flipping... Oh, blimey. And there's the English. 3,000 English just chilling out, and Harold Hardrada is just basically looking like he wants to hunt down whatever's left of the English forces. The English forces are in trouble at this moment. They are scattered and in general not doing a good job. They are not having a good life in general. And in fact, rather interestingly, the Norwegians are doing much, much better at this moment. They're up to minus 73%. Whereas I think some of the Norman stuff was actually taken back by... Actually, why are they down at only minus 32? They must have lost something. Possibly one of their territories was taken over... Yeah, it's Middlesex. They've actually been taken over by the Norwegians. So what was held by William is now held by Norway, which therefore hurts his war score, but aids Norway. So Norway actually is I think Norway might be about to win this war. Which will be very interesting because the Norwegian king is a king. So I think at that point, England might actually lapse to being technically Norway. I think history might be about to go completely off the rails. And in which case, I'm not sure what happens to William because he's got a claim against England. If there's no England for him to fight that claim against, then where does he go? Does he just go home and be like, oh, fair enough. There's no England anymore. This could be very, very interesting. So history might be about to go horribly, horribly wrong here. Anyway, let's just speed up time a little bit just to see what actually kicks off now. Because, yeah, there's Normandy. There's King Harold, who's trying to now take back Middlesex. But I imagine at some point the Norwegians will step in and stop him because his force is just flipping tiny. The English could, in theory, probably take out this tiny, tiny force of Normandy troops that are just besieging Surrey right now. And, yeah, Harold is working on just getting Oxford down directly. And, yep, there we go. So the English have indeed, I think, tried to attack over the river into Surrey. But, yeah, there we go. The actual main forces of Normandy have now shown up and are going to immediately kick the arse of the English. They're going to... Oh, yeah, look at that. Because they're holding on this side of the river, that was very big for them. So it's a race at this point. It's a massive race. And it just keeps changing because Middlesex keeps changing hands. So, oh, hang on. The Norman conquest is now up to 80%, dropping from 65. Because I think the Normandy people have managed to kick some of the Norwegian territory off that. And, oh, blimey. Hang on, we've actually got... Oh, we've got a direct fight now. We've got a direct fight between Normandy and Norway. I didn't even know they were technically at war with each other. But if they weren't before, they are now. Wait, hang on. I just wouldn't know about it because I'm only being told about the wars that involve England. Right, except, unfortunately, there is a river crossing going on here. So, I think... the forces of... Hang on, who's on the 8872? That's Normandy. Normandy is attacking over a river, which means, yeah, their forces are much less effective. So these guys are losing about 40 odd a turn. Even though... Oh, this is going to be ludicrously close. This is going to be so damn close, and this is going to decide the fate of England. Normandy has more troops. However... Oh, hang on, there's reinforcements coming in from both sides. And the reinforcements, there's a lot more actual reinforcements for Norway. There's only 1,000 reinforcements coming in here. I think Normandy is about to be driven back. Normandy is looking very... Oh, Normandy's in huge trouble. Normandy's in absolutely flipping massive trouble just because of that river. And also... Oh, we've got magnificently good news here. Magnificently good news. My extremely talented Chancellor has managed to, very, very fast indeed, fabricate a claim on Devon. And that means we are allowed to just walk into Devon whenever we feel like it. Or rather, whenever we can take it. Right. Slow down time here. Use the claim. That's going to cost me some money, unfortunately. And it's going to cost me some prestige as well. Because this is underhanded. But slow down time. Okay. England's on fire. But something much more important is going on here. Which is now, at this point, I can declare war on Devon anytime I want to, and that is marvellously good news. So the way that we actually take over a settlement is we need to basically be able to overrun its defences. So in this case, yeah, there's a garrison of 460. That's just permanently attached to that core settlement. Plus there's a levy available of 406, which I'm quite frankly surprised Harold hasn't called up, because that's, you know, not an insignificant number of men. So I've got to have more than 871 men in order to actually get into Lidford here. And then I'm also going to need 800 men to get into Exeter and 762 men in order to get into Axminster. So in short, I'm going to be needing, yeah, the highest number there was 871. If I can muster up 871 men, and then also I need to defeat whatever this guy's... Oh, this guy's force is only 400. Fine. So we can kick his ass, but he might be able to put up a little bit of a fight. Okay, how many men do I have available? Because you, my good man, were supposed to be training new troops for me. If I actually raise all my men right now, 650, not quite enough. Okay, not quite enough, but that's okay. because I've got other things available to me, which is there are mercenaries in the world. They are really, really expensive, though. The cheapest mercenaries are just for hiring some ships if you need to get over the water in a hurry. The cheapest mercenaries in the world are a monthly cost of 9.57 and 190 up front to hire. I have got 35. So, in short, I cannot afford that. Unless, of course, I borrow myself a little bit of money, because this is pretty much the perfect opportunity to just get over there and take Devon right now. So yeah, I've got 35 plus 2.32. Alright, let's just go over to my decisions. And oh, I need to get a flipping court doctor in. Yeah, we could totally do with a court physician. Sorry. I thought did we not already have one of those? No, we don't. Oops, sorry, my mistake. Need to actually get that requested. Yeah, someone go and get me a court doctor. Someone will hopefully show up for that. Now, if I'm very lucky indeed, yes, I can borrow 300 gold from Jewish merchants. And with interest agreed upon, I'll need to pay 350 back later. Now, that's, you know, quite a bit of money that's going to need to be paid back. But this has got to be worth it. Okay, this is probably a good idea. So the temple aren't going to be thrilled by that. Gain 300 gold. And because all I want to take over is Devon, this is going to be a short war. Because the moment I hire these mercenaries, I'm going to go into a massive deficit. So, you, my good man, you utter bastard, I'm declaring war on you because of my entirely legitimate claim to Devon. So send that declaration, we're now at war, and now I raise the troops. Because for some slight obscure reason, you can't actually declare war while your troops are raised. You have to, like, dismiss them and then actually declare the war, and it's just slightly odd. Right, so, I know I can't take that area by myself, so instead I'm just going to basically call up the mercenaries, and there's no point me actually raising my own troops, because they're barely going to make any difference, but they're going to cost me 2.2 to maintain, because I have to pay for that myself. So, it's better for me just basically to hire this here Irish band, because that's, yeah, 1,900 by itself. Give them a moment just to... Actually, I don't even need them to have a moment because they're not going to be fighting anything particularly difficult. Instead, just select these guys and now immediately give them the order to move into Devon. Devon may choose to... Oh, and meanwhile over here, there are, interestingly... Yes, this is fascinating. So, Harald Hardrada won the battle, but is left with 6,000 troops. The Normans, meanwhile, lost just because of the disadvantageous terrain, but still have 8,500 troops to hand. And also, Harold's just chilling out with 500 guys here. And yeah, technically, the Normans are still winning this war, but that might change very quickly because they're now stuck for a few weeks or months retreating shattered until they can recover. Meanwhile, the Norwegians have an excellent opportunity to just take over some land. They might be able to win this war before the forces of Normandy are actually able to regroup. Okay, this is all getting very, very interesting indeed. Now, the question is, will Devon actually raise their troops, or is Devon just going to basically accept a siege? Kind of hard to tell. Let's just speed things up here, see where everything all ends up, and... oh, hang on. What just happened to the... What happened to the Normans there? Oh, possibly it just took a bit of time to update the numbers. Oh, Normandy's in trouble. The Normans are going to lose this to Harald flipping Hardrada. This is concerning. Right, meanwhile, I get into... Shut up, I don't care about whatever this is. Okay, fine, I probably do. And, the physician. Sorry, I do care about that. I summoned you specially. So, a promising medical student from Bodmin. Okay, a local lad. So, he managed to save the life of one of the daughters of an important local trader not long ago. Apparently, she only lost an eye in the process. So, coercing him to join the court will be easy. Okay, he's 19. He is a renowned physician. Envious, humble, temperate. Yeah, he's 19, so he'll be around for a while. I see absolutely no reason. So, bring him in. 10? 10 gold? That's quite a flipping lot, but okay, it'll be worth it to have a doctor just in case. So, bring him to court. That's all lovely. And just check he has been... Yes, he is immediately actually assigned to be my court physician. Lovely. And here we go. So my troops get settled in for a nice siege. Now, at this point, I am losing 7.6 gold every month, so this war needs to not take too long, otherwise I could be in trouble. I could be in a flipping lot of trouble, yes. And in addition, we've got, a mass recruitment drive in Cornwall. Well, that's just flipping marvellous. What does that mean for the number of troops I could theoretically call up? Is it up a little bit? I think that's up a little bit versus what it was. Yes, that's very, very nice indeed. Marvellous. So, good work there. Well done. And actually, at this point, okay. What's going on here? Yes, indeed. William's in trouble. And where, in fact, is William right now? That is a small detachment of William's troops. I think he's just desperately trying to win as fast as he can. So they're currently besieging Wessex. And they've got more troops up here besieging, though I'm surprised they're even capable with only 500 men, besieging Shropshire, although Shropshire's probably been drained dry by having previously been sieged, so that'd be why. It's already weaker. Meanwhile, the Norwegians are also double sieging, so now it's actually just a race. Oh, but hang on, England might decide this, because they're currently unsieging other things held by, they're going to screw over the Normans. Harold Hardrada's going to win this war because the English are taking territory off the Normans that they previously held. Oh, what the hell? And meanwhile, I'm just engaged in my own little tiny local war down here. That's absolutely fine. I'm just going to have Devon for myself. Oh, this is ludicrous. This is absolutely ludicrous. And if he successfully takes this, which I think he will, because look at the garrisons here. They've already been drained dry by multiple existing sieges, then that's actually going to hand victory to... It's neck and neck. It's 75 apiece. And these guys are... Hang on, where are you going right now? Are you actually going to... Are they going to try... No! The Norwegians have stopped sieging. They have stopped sieging. Normandy is up to... No, 75. It's 79 for the Norwegians. Where are they going? Oh, they're going to go and kick the arse of the Normandy faction. And I'm not surprised either. Right, that's going to cause trouble for... whatever the war score is in their war. I don't know what the war score is in their war. And there we go. They've been pretty much destroyed. Now, what the hell is left here at this point? That's England. Norway is now besieging Middlesex. And the Normans are besieging Wessex. But Wessex has previously not really been touched in this war. So that's going to take them a long period of time. And Hendrik beams... Hendrik. Good old Hendrik. So he hands over a pouch of gold. He claims to contain savings accumulated from hard work and donations from richer families. Oh, what? 300? That's enough for me to basically repay the Jewish loan. Oh, Hendrik. Hendrik, hang on. Hang on, Hendrik. You get a reward. You get a reward for that, Hendrik. Alright, I'm giving you an honorary title right now. You get to be... Ooh, what's a good title for you? Ooh, you get to be the designated regent. Yes. Yes, you do. In the event that I die, which could, well, bloody happen because it's Crusader Kings 2, you, my good man, get to be king until my daughters come of age. Speaking of which, where the hell are all these children I'm supposed to be having by now? It's 1068. Come on, I could do with a son. And it's up to... Oh, no. It genuinely is looking like... Yeah, this is the way it's going to go. This is the way it's going to flipping go. The Norwegian invasion... is actually about to kick out the Normans. That's totally about to happen. The Normans are being absolutely torn apart as soon as this is done. And as soon as this force here takes London, which should be no trouble whatsoever, that's England up there. Okay, I've won one of my sieges, by the way. So I'm doing well in my war, at least. And I don't know what happens if... What happens if this guy gets displaced by someone else by the... I don't want this war to end. I need this war, ideally, to carry on until I've had time to win my war, which I think should happen after I take all of the settlements of the local area. And unfortunately, I'm losing money a little bit on the fast side. Minus 91. Come on. Just hold on. Okay, if England takes back... Are they doing exactly that? They are doing exactly that. England is taking back some of the territory, which might slow down Harold Hardrada enough that I can actually win Devon in time, hopefully, to lock... Who are you guys and what are you doing? Go away! Whoever you are, go the hell away. Alright, seriously, naff off. And speaking of the Norwegians, thankfully they're not coming in this direction. They've decided to actually attack Somerset, but this is getting a little bit on the worrying side. They're very close by to arriving in... Uh-oh. Uh-oh, no. No, 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 that's not fair. That's not flipping fair. I think I need to... Can I pull out in time? Are they about to attack me? Are the Normans about to actually attack flipping me? I think they are. That would logically be an attack on me on the 27th. If I pull out now... How long until 29th? There's no time for me to pull out. Why are the Normans coming for me right now? Why are the Normans coming for me? At this exact moment in... Why would this happen? Why would you attack me? Of all people? Oh no. Okay. But if my troops retreat but have enough strength left over, they can maintain and just continue the siege later. Just go. Run. Run, you bastards. Just get out of there. Okay. How much is left? 1,300 is left. That's actually enough for me to continue the siege later, which I can afford thanks to the giant pile of money. Oh, you utter bastards. Uh-oh. He's minus 100%. Harold Hardrada is at minus 100%. That means he can enforce his will anytime he wants. Which is going to be interesting. Okay. Duke Harold of Essex just accepted Harold Hardrada's peace offer. So, at this exact moment in time... Yeah, okay. Well, this is just fascinating. So. The Kingdom of England has just ceased to exist. England is now technically Norway, because the Norwegian king just came into England with a claim against the Kingdom of England, killed the English king, but he was already a king, so England just stopped existing. There's no longer an England. At this point, there's just Norway and more Norway. And as for, yeah, the Norman conquest, that's been misnamed. Now, what's hopefully going to happen next, therefore, is the Norwegian forces, of which I am now technically one of. I think I'm now... Yeah, I'm now Norwegian. I now work for Norway. So, great. I now work for Norway. That means the Norwegian forces are now my friends. So, I now just need to basically get these troops and get them moving back over here as fast as possible. Because I want to kick these Norwegians out. Hopefully that's what you're doing. You're arriving in... Where are you arriving right now? Are you going to Devon? You're going to Devon. Good. So the Norwegians are now going to kick out the last of the Normans. And hopefully these guys will have just weakened these forces enough that I can move straight in and take... There we go. You may as well just head straight in and help. Actually, you know what? No, just stay where you are. Just stay where you flipping are. There's no reason for you to take more damage than you've already taken, quite frankly. So at this point, Who's winning at this point? Yeah, the Normans are taking some heavy damage. I'm staying there. Hell out of it. More Norwegians are just showing up because, yeah, this is just Norway now. This is just Norway. The problem is, if this guy decides to just take control of Dorset, which he might decide to do, then I don't know. Oh, finally, I've got a pregnant wife. Good. This is so weird. Also, uh-oh. Hello, what do you want, by the way? Propose that someone becomes the... Yeah, absolutely. You do that. How much do you like me, by the way? Do we... Oh, we like each other. We appear to like each other. Why do we like each other? Because we're both zealous. And Liege is just. Liege is brave. Okay. This here. This is actually surprisingly good news. Alright, good stuff. And he's also just come in and kicked the arse of the Normans who came and attacked me. So, quite frankly, I'm considering this all marvellously good news. And that... Hang on, that just... They just get kicked out. Okay, apparently we're having some trouble dislodging the last of the Normans. The flipping army of William of Normandy is just still... It's still there. Where are you going right now? We'll arrive in... Hang on. No, don't go to Winchester. Don't go to Winchester. Come back to Dorset. Everyone group together. You haven't actually killed the Normans yet. Please go and kill the Normans. Because I need them out of the way. Because I want that territory. Okay, so he's just gone and displaced me from Lidford. Which was actually held by me previously. And is now held by... Oh, cock! No. Come and help me. Come and flipping help me. Oh, no. No, my mercenaries. My mercenaries. Just hurry up. Hurry up. Get in there. Help out. Why, no? No, don't go over there. Oh, cocking hell. My mercenaries! I can't tell them to retreat, I don't think. I don't think I've got any way of doing that. Oh, no. Right, so my mercenaries have been beaten again. At this point, the Norwegians are... They are kicking the forces of Normandy out of... Oh, bloody hell. Okay, I've still got 900 men there. The forces of Normandy, meanwhile, are hopefully finally going to be defeated. Oh, and bloody finally the forces of Devon have actually shown up at long flipping last. I don't know what they're planning to do exactly. Right, my forces need to start coming down immediately. I've got enough money to pay for this. Actually, you know what? This damage troop is better. Presumably they cost less. So that's absolutely fine. In fact, actually, no. I've got a better idea. Okay, now is the time to raise my personal levy. So my levy of 659 men. Because my levy of 659 men, there's no troops left inside Lidford. So at this point, I'm going to send in my personal levies into Devon to kick the arse of the forces of this guy personally. So he goes in there and... Okay, give my ward Conan a proper blah 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 blah. Sorry, what exactly do you want me to do? Oh, you just want one of my many nephews to be brought up as Norwegian. Yeah, fine, go for it. Have fun. You can have him. So, okay, new year. At this point, I come in here, and I now immediately kill that guy. And I think that, yeah, that was Earl Caddock leading that personally. So, what do I want to do? Master flat terrain, be good with cavalry, good with light foot. Yeah, let's focus on flat terrain. There's a bunch of flat terrain around here, I think. So let's just focus on that here. My mercenaries are still bloody on the way back. Those are Norwegians. Those are Normans. Just basically need to get the hell out of the way of all of them. So you guys just basically run. Fine, so we've won the Battle of Lidford. Again. And we've retaken... Flipping... Wait, have we retaken that at this point? No, we're besieging that right now. But it will take no time at all. Because there's basically no defenders. And now here come my mercenaries back. This has been ridiculous. This has been absolutely cocking ridiculous. Okay, merge these forces together. At this point, at the bare minimum, I should now be able to take over these places pretty quickly. Okay? And what's going on with the Norman conquest? Technically there's... Don't you dare! Don't you flipping dare! Do not! No! No, what are you... They are... No, they're going to Dorset. They're going to Dorset, not Devon. Alright. Norway! I need your help! The bloody Normans won't go home! How many spare troops do I have in the levy? I've still got... That's 92 troops. And I don't have to pay for them. Screw it. Just as backup reinforcements, deploy them. Deploy them over there. And also bandits have raided siege camps outside Lidford. Oh no, I'm losing troops. This was supposed to be a quick, easy war. You know, like, you know, in and out. No problem whatsoever. Okay? This was supposed to be simple. And also, Hendrik was wounded while trying to gather taxes. Is he okay? You okay, my good man? I think he's... Yeah, he's scarred. He's scarred, but apparently he was not killed, so that's fine. So at this point, the Normans, they're still hanging around. They're still here, and they're trying to take Dorset. Okay? Just put everyone together into 1,700... And now I am just slowly wearing down these places as time ticks by. It's 1069 and the invasion of 1066 isn't over yet. And I've got... Okay. I've had a son. Oh, this is a good year. This is a good year. Samson? No. No. My first son will be called John. That is what my first son shall be called. Well done. You are the heir. Now, hopefully just make it to adulthood without dying, because, you know, that's not a guarantee. So, Lidford has now actually been taken, and now I'm just continuing to... Defenders 16. Okay. Hopefully, we can overwhelm 16 defenders. Alright, what have we got up here, by the way? Yeah, I know about a favourite mode. A child lacks a childhood focus. And who is that? That is my... Oh, my nephew. Which one's he? Honestly, you're not that important, so maybe be thrifty. You might be a good administrator in future. And my vassals are annoyed that my levies have been raised too long. Sorry, guys. For security, they need to stay raised. Until we secure Devon, they stay raised. And meanwhile, in the middle of all this chaos, we got problems with illness. Down in the southeast, and oh, blimey, it's all over the shop. Slow fever has just broken out. So 20% epidemic resistance. Right. Okay. Hopefully, that doesn't spread to me. If it does, I can close the gates. It's not exactly good for my relationship with my underlings, but, you know, needs must and all of that. Now, I should also probably work on sucking up to the new king, because technically, we got ourselves a new king right now. You, my good man, my liege, you're 54. You're not necessarily going to be around for too much longer. Let's have a little look-see at your family. So you've got yourself various children, including, yeah, there's your heir. And there's another heir right there. So, Prince Magnus of Norway. Any chance... Ooh. Prince Magnus of Norway is not currently married. Okay. Any chance he would potentially be interested in marrying... He would. Okay. This is of interest. So, I'm guessing, obviously, you're not interested in matrilineal. Yeah, obviously. Matrilineal would mean, yeah, any children from the marriage will belong to me. And that probably is not going to go very well. But, Duke Magnus right there. Okay, marrying into the family is worth a lot of prestige. And also, just in general, you know, the king will like me. The potential future king is going to like me. That's good news. That's very good news. Because that will get me good council positions and all sorts of benefits. Yeah. That is not even my... In fact, yeah, currently she's third in line to my throne. She is worth throwing away just for the sake of good relationships with my new king. And by the way, you actually heading down to deal with these bastards at last. Yes, good indeed. Your wisdom and mercy are legendary. He is up for that. So head to Oxford, head to Wiltshire, and then clear out these bastards once and for all. Good. That should be the end of the Norman invasion once and for all. Recognising virtues and talents that others possess is truly a virtue. I'm blessed to have a court chaplain who is a devout teacher. So I could reward him, which doesn't seem to cost me anything, or thank Jesus for him. I will actually boost my relationship with him just for safety. And we've got another victory there, the Siege of Exeter. Good. We just need to siege out one more place. This has been such a ridiculous war. This was supposed to be me coming in and doing, like, you know, just a handful of little bits and pieces. Where are the Normans? Are they... Okay, at this point, the Normans should be pretty much screwed. Okay, this is excellent good news. But this guy, yeah, the new Harold Hardrada, King Harold Hardrada of England. Oh, that's kind of a new Norway, I guess. Yeah, he's actually going around... Oh, by the way, why are you still here? You shouldn't be here. There's a lone Welsh kingdom up here. Go and start plotting some claims over there or something. That'd be great. How's this place going? Good. This place is going well. We're very quickly cutting through its defences, though I'll be very keen to just, you know, take down this mercenary band and get rid of them sooner rather than later. One more moment should do it. Come on. In we go. Come on. There we go. And that is 100%. Which means now I can force my demands on him. So I will get the County of Devon and also 100 prestige for winning. And there we go. I've just taken that title. And the Devon War has ended. Oh, Caddock of Cornwall wins. And that means I get myself a brand new territory here. A brand new flipping territory. Absolutely flipping marvellous. Now... Fun thing about this, right now, I'm an earl. I am a lovely, lovely earl. So, I could stay an earl with 2 titles, or rather, actually I've got loads of titles. I could just stay an earl, but I now own what ought to be considered a duchy. Because if we go over to the, the duchy map here, this area is supposed to be the Duchy of Cornwall. Right now, the Duchy of Cornwall doesn't actually exist. I can force it to exist by virtue of the fact I own both the parts of it. So if I just go over to here, Duchy of Cornwall, I can create that for, how much is it going to cost me? It will give me 200 prestige, but it will cost me 187 gold. I could make myself a duke right now for just 187 gold. Or I could pay back the people I owe the gold to. Well, first things first, I don't need these troops anymore. Get rid of all of them. How much profit am I making? Right now, well, it's going to take a while to update, but I've just got rid of all the troops. No, I want it. I want it. I want it. I want to be a duke. I'm going to give myself an upgrade here. I'm going to create the Duchy of Cornwall. And with that, I am now Duke Caddock of Cornwall. The Duchy of Cornwall exists. I'm now a duke. You can tell because I'm wearing I'm guessing that's a duke hat. That must be a duke hat. Fascinating. How do different hairstyles look with my duke hat? Because I can change my hairstyle. Actually, that's quite nice. I like having long hair and I'll have a massive beard. Yeah, there we go. Barber, please add more beard on. Nice. That's just lovely. And as a result, yes, indeed, the little Duchy of Cornwall symbol is now there. Cornwall is now much, much bigger than it was. And being a duke means I've just taken a bit of a step up in the world. Up to this point, I was just a vassal count. Now I've taken the next step up. A duke. So I am now equal in status to the Duke of Kent, the Duke of East Anglia, the Duke of Essex, and wow, Mercia owns a flipping lot of territory. That is a really big part of territory. Now, I should probably be a little bit worried about the possibility that my liege, King Harold Hardrada, might just take a bunch of territory off me, but me and him, we like each other. We like each other a fair bit. Wait, refused offer of guardianship. Did I? Uh-oh. When did I do that? I can't remember. I did that. I probably shouldn't have done that. That was probably a bad idea. Let's just actually have also a quick look at his council. Am I on his council right now? No, for the time being, I've not actually been put on his council. Ooh, I should probably be a bit worried about that. But then again, equally, he's actually got a council that can include all sorts of other places. Yeah, like the Duchy of Vestlatet. Okay, so this has been an interesting start. As it turns out, I think Norway just became the biggest empire in the world. By landmass, they probably do, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd say let's call things apart there. This is the beginning of our new series of Crusader Kings 2. Where I started off as a vassal count in an insignificant little corner of England, and now I'm a duke in Norway, because that's just how this goes sometimes. But too, I do like how when you zoom out now, yeah, Cornwall, I have doubled the size of the Cornish Empire, and there is a lot more that we can do yet. Next time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to figure out how we negotiate the tricky political world of Crusader Kings 2, and this strange new world we live in where London, Oxford and Winchester are all directly being controlled by the bloody King of Norway. Meaning, yes, all things are strange and weird, and potentially he could actually bring his own people in, or he could allow us to just manage ourselves. I don't know how much of a hands-on approach the King of Norway is deciding he's going to take with his new acquisitions. And we'll also have to keep an eye on all our fellow dukes, because I am now one of the dukes. It's nice to be one of the dukes. That's my first step forward in the world. Because Mercia has an awful lot of territory. Hang on, who actually is controlling Mercia right now? Yes, good old Duke Morcar of Mercia, who has got himself a bunch of titles and 17 vassals working for him. He controls a very, very large amount of space. And he is Anglo-Saxon. Potentially, he's not going to be happy with being part of Norway, because England isn't supposed to be part of Norway. It's supposed to be part of England. So, I suspect, and yes, indeed, look at it, you can see it right there. So, Duke Morcar bloody hates King Harold. He's a foreign conqueror, humiliated close kin, humiliated family, short reign, and, indeed, yeah, Morcar wants the Kingdom of England. The political wrangling will begin next time, because the English dukes aren't just going to sit there and take it. England is going to be a hotbed of sedition and rebellion, and when the time is right, there might be a good opportunity for me to pick up some of the pieces and indeed join up with the other dukes to kick out the Norwegians once and for all and maybe restore the Kingdom of England. and maybe one day even run it, but that is a very, very long way off. In the meantime, Brittany looks somewhat tempting over there. Wales could be up for grabs. I mean, I am Celtic and Welsh culturally, so it's quite possible that the Welsh would actually be willing to accept me if I were to invade without too much trouble. Ireland's right over there. That's generally a bunch of individual earls, so I could go and get a foothold over there as well. All of that is available to us, ladies and gentlemen. War, politics, subterfuge, and a whole bunch of crazy stories yet for Duke Caddock of Cornwall. We've taken our first step, ladies and gentlemen. This will be our new series running on Thursday and Sunday. I hope you join me for the second part because Crusader Kings 2, as anyone who's played it for any significant length of time be able to tell you, this game could go some really fun, interesting places when it comes to storytelling. Some very fun, interesting places indeed. I hope you join me for that. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Crusader Kings 2. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Wait, did people just vote out democracy? Hang on, what have you just done? Oh, go on, let's have the greatest Oktoberfest ever. Yay! Spain and Russia have announced a new alliance as a result of the warmongering of certain Central European countries. Oh, well, excuse me! My leader from now on, no weaklings will stand in the way of this country's path to glory. Oh, God, Germany, not again!